Yeah, we've got a tough road game. It's really only the second true road game. You can kind of count the Gonzaga one. That is pretty much a road game with the way the fans were and everything. But this is the second true road game with Memphis being the first. So we've let our guys know we didn't play very well in the first road game at Memphis. We've got to do better. We've got to come out ready to play a little bit better. We've made a huge point of emphasis on defense. I thought our defense was much improved against Tennessee, but offensively we struggled a little bit. Defense, Florida's defense, one of the best defenses in the country, so they're going to put a lot of pressure on our offense. They turn people over a lot. I feel like we've got good guard play, but we did struggle with some turnovers here, in the last game. So we've got to do a better job taking care of the ball against their pressure defense. I feel like Florida's offense, they feed off their defense quite a bit. If our turnovers are down, I think it'll help our defense tremendously because they won't be scoring off their turnovers. So I think our defense starts with our offense taking care of the ball, and once we get that, I think we've had a really good week of practice focusing on the defensive end. So looking forward to it. Florida's a really good team, and I've only played down there once since I've been here. That was when we gave up the huge lead in the second half and didn't come away with a win. So, if we go down there and close the game a little better, obviously we had a great start to it down there before, but we need to play a full 40 minutes or 45 or 50, whatever it takes, like it was the last time we were there.
Thank you, Coach. Let's start with Charlie Potter first.
Yeah, hey coach. I think you talked about it last week, but just going back to James Rojas, do you have a timetable for when you guys think you'll be able to make an appearance in the game?
He's participating in non-live drills in practice now, so they're hoping 2 to 3 weeks. So maybe middle of January, end of January, somewhere in there. I think it's going to somewhat be determined by how he looks once he gets into some of the live stuff. But he's looked good so far in all the non-live stuff he's done.
Katie Wyndham, go ahead.
Coach, you've talked a lot lately about getting the defensive efficiency numbers back up. Last game out against Tennessee, it was outside of the Jacksonville State game, the least you've given up since November. Just what did you like about your defense in that game? And kind of, you said it's been good in practice this week, heading into your first road SEC game.
Yeah, I think the energy's been better. Like we chart all the same stats in practice we do in the games. Keon Ellis has either led or been top 2 in our blue-collar points the last 2 days in practice. He was great again today. Just getting some guys to get back playing hard, playing active. I think Shackelford's been really good in practice these last couple of days. Those are 2 of our better perimeter defenders. Our bigs have been, Noah's been a lot better here lately, and I thought Noah was really good against Tennessee. It'd be great if he came on strong in conference play. But just our overall general intensity on the defensive end. I didn't think we were great in transition defense against Tennessee. We put a big point of emphasis on that. Florida scores a lot in transition, particularly off their turnovers. So, we've done a better job of that, better job pressuring the ball. We need to force a lot more turnovers on our defensive end. We've tried to put a point of emphasis on that without gambling and giving up layups because we don't want to compromise our defense, but we do need to play a little harder and force more turnovers.
Mike Rodak.
Just kind of from a logistics standpoint and trying to figure out, how to travel. When Florida cancels a game last week and then you have Missouri cancel a game yesterday because of COVID, just how do you figure out if you can travel, like what the whole timetable is? And just secondary to that too, just what was kind of your view on, the change in the SEC rule as far as not forfeiting games anymore that they made, I think it was 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, so I think the change in rules was due to the fact there was so many COVID cases were going up so much, and do you really want to punish a program that really couldn't have done much about? It seems like some of these cases maybe are unavoidable at times. I know Florida was just shut down. I think they've done a really good job. Our trainer, Clark, I think is one of the best in the business. Their trainer down there is one of the most established, experienced, well-respected trainers in the business, and they're doing what they can. And, it'd been bad to take a loss just because you had some unavoidable things that happened with COVID. So I understand why they changed the rules. I also, understand why they had that rule in the first place. We don't want teams just sitting out games just because. So, the coaches and the administration and the athletic trainers all have to understand these games need to be played if at all possible. So, we played our full allotment of games last year. We were one of the few teams in the country that played as many games as you could possibly play last year. We didn't shut down, miss any games due to our own stuff. Obviously the Houston game got switched to Western Kentucky last year because of things they had going on. I think our trainer's done a good job, and but that doesn't guarantee that you're not going to have COVID in your program. You're still going to have some cases, and our players are. Every player that's eligible's got the booster shot. We're doing what we can on our end to make sure that we don't have a shutdown, but it happens. So I think, and then to address the travel situation, you have to plan on playing the games that are in front of you. So we planned on the Florida trip. We got it all together, and if our ops people, Alex, our director of operations, if she gets a whole trip planned and it gets canceled last minute, it's kind of part of the business, Her and Adam's done it a lot. We've got some experienced people on staff with that. If they've got to throw together a trip last minute, we've had to do that before too in the last 2 years. So they're good at their job. They know what they're doing. We're planning on playing Missouri. We've talked to them. I think they're going to have enough players out of protocol. And I think it's good too. The SEC's following the CDC guidelines, and we've got 5 days instead of 10 now. I know some leagues are still at the 10, which doesn't make much sense, being that most everybody in the program is vaccinated. The CDC has made those recommendations, and that's what the SEC's gone with. So I think you're able to get guys back faster and lose less games when you do get COVID cases. But we're planning on playing the Missouri game, and if something happens where they're not able to play, or we'll make the last minute changes if possible. I mean, we had the Davidson game get thrown together in less than 24 hours, and they were able to make the trip. So I think teams are aware of the fact that they've got to be fluid and flexible with their schedule, and we are too.
Austin Hannon.
Hey, Coach, you've obviously had some issues with big guys this year. How much is it a point of concern about Colin Castleton on Wednesday night?
Yeah, it's a major concern. I mean, he's our leading scorer and rebounder. We've had major problems stopping interior players that play with some type of physicality. I do think it's good. Noah's been playing better. We've been trying to give some other bigs a chance. Ken Ambrose playing hard, decent in practice. But, Charles has to do better for us. He's got to do a better job guarding, and he's done a great job with his help defense. He's got to get a little bit stronger to actually guard his own matchup in the post better now that we're in the SEC, and we're going to do a little bit better job helping him out when he's, outmanned in there. But, I think Noah's a little stronger and played a little better, so we may mix our coverages up on him, mix our matchups up on him. But he's a concern for sure. I mean, he's a really talented player. He's really good. He's good in the post. He's good in the mid-post. He's good facing the basket. So we're going to have to figure out ways to cover him in multiple areas on the floor.
Okay, we got 3 more questions in the queue, so we're going to finish with these 3 questions. Let's start with Michael Browner first.
Hey, Coach. In a game like the Tennessee game, now here with back-to-back road games and tough environments here, when shots just aren't falling really like they weren't for 35, 36 minutes against Tennessee, what kind of adjustments can you really make in game, whether it be on the offensive or defensive end, to kind of counteract that?
Yeah, I mean, defensively, we're just going to stay with what we do and just realize that our defense kept us in the game, and it allowed us to win the game when we weren't making threes for, like you said, about 35 minutes that game against Tennessee. Offensively, can you post up some mismatches more? Maybe. And I think Noah's starting to play better now. Noah's probably our best post-up guy, so can you get him the ball? I thought Noah played great for us. If Noah didn't play the way he did against Tennessee, we wouldn't have won the game. And, he was able to drive the ball a little bit more. So whether you get some more drives, some more slashing opportunities, some more post-up opportunities to try to create some more at-the-rim opportunities, you look at that a little bit. And then some of it is, we play the way we're going to play, and I didn't want our shooters passing up open shots. And if we'd made a bunch of major adjustments, we probably wouldn't have hit those 3 threes we hit that won us the game in the last few minutes of the Tennessee game. So, we're just going to tell our guys, if you're open, you're a shooter. We're not passing up shots. And told Keon and Shaq both that, and they both hit. Keon hit 2 big threes, and Shaq hit a big 3 late in that game. And I think eventually, with as good a shooters as we have, they're not going to stay cold forever. And Shaq's been really hot in practice. Keon Ellis has been making a lot of shots. Quinterly's starting to make shots at a lot higher rate in practice. So I anticipate us shooting the ball a little bit better here moving forward.
We have a follow-up from Charlie. Go ahead, Charlie.
Hey, Coach, you just mentioned Noah and how he's coming off with his best game in an Alabama uniform. Have you seen something click with him, or was it just a matter of, time for him to kind of have a performance like that?
A little bit of both. I think he needed some time to adjust to the way we play and our style and our pace. And I also think, he's able to figure out where his shots are coming from in the offense, when he should drive. I thought he was taking too many threes at one point, even some stepping out of his shot instead of being spotted up, stepping in. Now it seems like when he doesn't have his feet ready to shoot when it's coming, he's driving the ball, which is what he should have been doing. He's figuring out when he's supposed to drive, when he's supposed to shoot. And I think he had some really good drives against Tennessee that, created some good offense for us. And I think he got to some back down opportunities that he was a lot more aggressive in, that he had, we've known he's a good post-up player, especially when he's backing a guy down. He just hasn't gotten to him as often as we'd like to, and now he did, and I thought he was much more aggressive in him. So, I think he's starting to figure out where his opportunities are coming from in our offense. He's playing a lot better.
All right, we'll finish up with Mike.
I think you mentioned last night that Shaq's the only guy who didn't play in that, or that did play in that Florida game 2 years ago down in Gainesville. Just how do you guys get ready for that environment, especially since it was different than last year when everything was at 30% capacity?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe a little higher.
The environment was pretty good 2 years ago. I mean, what were we up 22? I think at one point. They made the big comeback, and their crowd got behind them there late in the game and overtime. And so I mean, the SEC is really good athletic league with a lot of tough environments to play in. So I think it's good. We've already played at Memphis, so they had a good environment there. It's good we played out in Seattle against Gonzaga. There's a lot of pro-Gonzaga fans out there in Seattle. So I think our guys are used to it. Sometimes it's more satisfying to, quiet a road crowd than it maybe even to get excited with a home crowd at home. So kind of see what some of these guys are made of. Shaq, that's correct, though. I think Shaq's the only one that's played at Florida on the current roster, outside of some walk-ons, BJ and Tyler. But so it'll be fun. Hopefully they pack the place out. I like playing in nice arenas that are packed out. It'll be a bit of fun environment for us.
All right. Thank you, Coach.